Hare Krishna. Think somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
I'll do it, Prabhuji.
Right.
Om Anya Timirandasya Jnananjana Salokya Chakshu Tanminatam Yana Tasmai Shri Guru Namaka Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tadadi Swab Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Samkhya Shri Rupam Sagar Ajitam Sagagan Raghurandavidam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Chachidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagagana Lalita Sri Vishagamidam Sa Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhan Sudatevi Pranam Yami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarusya Krishna Kripachandu Sindhu Yuvacha Patitanam Pavan Velo Vaishnava Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaurava Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. So just a quick announcement, as some of you already heard from the other batch. Our dear Krishna Ganga Prabhu is in a hospital, so I'm still trying to find out more details about him. But he has a service opportunity for you all male Vaishnav devotees that just as during the COVID pandemic times, we had the devotees taking turns to do japa for the one who was in hospital. Similarly, we'll try to do the same for Krishna Ganga Prabhu. He's still in hospital. I don't know the details. I'm still trying to find out, and I will share as it becomes available. For you Vaishnavis, you can think about making prasadam for him. And those who are far away, meaning physically not in Toronto area, you can do prayers for him. So I'll keep you all posted as we go along. And those of you who are interested to do japa for him over the phone with him, please connect with me offline. So right now, Krishna Ganga Prabhu does not have a phone on him. So I'm trying to work out some logistics on that. Okay. So today we will cover Canto 3, Chapter 7, verses 21 to 42 and finish Chapter 7. Plus we'll also cover Chapter 8, verses 1 to 9. Today's class and next class are easier paced and potentially shorter length classes. We will finish this unit number 8 next Sunday on 28th of January, meaning then following Sunday, 4th of February, you all will do your respective presentations on unit number 8 chapters. So right now we can begin with you all explaining one or more points from before and asking one or more questions.
Prabhuji, sun is all light to the cloud, darkness, and snow comes from the sun. Sun is all aloof. Darkness and snow can cover some of the sun rays, but cannot cover the whole sun. The my realization, what I have jotted down, sun is life. is never influenced by darkness, even when it comes from sun, clouds, darkness, and snowfall. They are all part and parcel of the sun. Because without sun, no darkness, no snowfall and clouds. Life is sustained by sun. Is far away from disturbances of darkness, uh, cloud, and snowfall. People with poor knowledge think that it is covered by darkness, snow, and cloud. Similarly, Supreme Personality of Godhead is not influenced by material energy, which is illusionary. Spark, when separated from fire, loses energy. Similarly, Jiva separated from the Lord. Mystery is thought. Paramatma is situated in the heart of Jiva, which forgets the Lord, is separated from the Lord. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I leave for the others to cover the other 2 points, though I am ready also for that.
Okay, very good explanation of the analogy, and as well as very good that you are ready with the others. So, yeah, so sun is never influenced by darkness and clouds and snow, etc. Even though all these clouds, snowfall, darkness comes from sun. Similarly, Supreme Personality of Godhead is never affected and never influenced by material energy, even though material energy is one of the energies of the Lord. Very good. Rest of you?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I can try explaining the second analogy, second question. As moon reflecting on water appears to tremble due to living association, the living being's association with the quality of water, so the self associated with matter appears to be qualified as matter. So here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is compared to the moon, which is fixed and it's in the sky. And the living entities are compared to the reflection of the moon on water. The moon is in the sky is actually fixed, and it does not appear to be quivering, just like how we feel the reflection of the moon and water is quivering. This quivering of the moon in the water is mainly because of the reflection being associated with water. And the water moves, but the moon does not move. Similarly, the living beings appear to be influenced by all the material qualities such as illusion, lamentation, miseries, although the pure soul. So the moon is compared to the pure soul. That is completely, none of these are present in the pure soul. And the separated part and parcels of the Lord are the ones who are entangled in this material existence. They are the one who have the quivering quality, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. Fulsome explanation of the moon trembling in water analogy. Okay, very good. Some of you, rest of you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Can I try homework 3.7 thing, wherein the child was taken as an analogy to say the mischievous child trying to stop the mischievous is not necessary, but the mind can be diverted to the right senses, as if the senses are medium of material activities. That's what we read. Activity of the senses, and when they are mischievous, that material field ought to be stopped by cultivating knowledge and engaging in transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, so that we can avoid contamination. This is what I realized. And for this, the child was taken, mischievous child was taken as an example for it. Senses be satisfied completely, and be as long as it tremble by material attraction can be stopped by the transcendental meditation, keeping the mind in the right sense. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so give your mind a safe playing space of Krishna consciousness. It's an easier approach to control the mind rather than trying to curb the mind forcefully. Okay, very good.
Prabhuji, if we listen to the Bhagavatam, we can be free from all miseries, and or these miseries may start to diminish and it may not affect us at all, Prabhuji. So
Okay,
the
very good.
bhakti path is the best solution.
Okay, very good. But so as Vidura was asking all these questions about Ishvara and Jiva, after answering, Maitreya Muni says bhakti is the solution. Okay, very good. And specifically hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, very good. Anybody has anything else to add, comment, inquire?
Prabhu, I would like to share a few information regarding the last question. My youngest brother was very naughty in childhood. My father used to give him a bundle of threads entangled, and he used to give it to him so that he will make it straight and then make it into a gandu, means a ball. And that is how he was diverting his mind. So this analogy is, reminded me of 60, 70 years back what happened. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so just as in the material world, also you try to keep the child engaged and quiet with material activities. Similarly, for the mind, give the mind a safe playing space of Krishna consciousness. Very good. Any further
I want you
inquiry?
to dwell on this. Similarly, Jiva is associated with matter. Think he is the matter, which is illusory feeling. All situation is due to monistic philosophy. Monistic means one-way traffic, like, am I right?
Yeah, monistic is more of those on the Gyan path that they are trying to not engage the senses in Krishna's service. Rather, they try to stop using the senses, and it doesn't work because senses are always active. Anything else? Anybody has anything to inquire? Okay. So we will continue from Canto 3, Chapter 7, verse number 21 onwards. So just to lay the context of where we are, we discussed in our previous class that Vidura inquires how Supreme Personality of Godhead is interacting with the modes, but not getting affected by the modes, even when there is connection. And Maitreya Muni dispels all misconceptions about Ishvara, that there is no logic to what people are saying about the Lord, that the Lord is conditioned or not conditioned, because Lord is independent. And the analogy we discussed today also, that sun is never influenced by darkness. Similarly, Supreme Personality of Godhead is always unaffected by influence of material energy, although material energy is one of the energies of the Lord. And then Vidura inquires about Jiva, that Jiva is pure, so how Jiva becomes degraded and engaged in nuisance. And Maitreya Muni dispels misconceptions about Jiva, that it is due to misidentification is why Jiva is suffering. The analogy of the moon trembling in the water, that because moon being associated with water in reflection, the reflection appears to be quivering, although actual fact is moon is fixed. This way, Maitreya Muni dispels all misconceptions about Ishvara and Jiva and recommends devotional service is the only way and the best way to come out come out of the illusion. And then Vidura shares his heartfelt reflections with Maitreya Muni. So we'll continue from this point on. The rest of the verses in this chapter 7 are questions by Vidura largely. And many verses are pretty straightforward. Part 4 is verses 21 to 38. Title is Vidura's Further Inquiries. All these questions that Vidura is asking here in chapter 7, these are similar to Parikshit Maharaj's questions in Canto 2, chapter 8. Is our dear Aditi able to read Canto 3, chapter 7, verses 21 and 22 translations?
He isn't available, Prabhu, and I am driving at the moment, Prabhu. Okay, I would be on the listening only mode, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
All right. Shivangi, 21, 22.
Hare Krishna, verse 21. After creating the total material energy, the Mahat Tattva, and thereby manifesting the gigantic universal form with senses and sense organs, the Supreme Lord entered within it. 22. The Purusha incarnation lying on the causal ocean is called the original Purusha in the material creations, and in his Virat form, in whom all the planets and the inhabitants live, he has many thousands of legs and hands.
Okay. So the first Purusha is Karnodakshay Vishnu. Second Purusha is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And the third Purusha is Shirodakshay Vishnu, who is the Paramatma within all of us. And the Mahat Tattva comes from Karnodakshay Vishnu. And then Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters into each universe. Radha Shakti, 23, 24 translations.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 23. O great Brahmana, you have told me that the gigantic Virat form and his senses, sense objects, and 10 kinds of fire, of life, air, exist with the 3 kinds of life, vigor. Now, if you will kindly explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions. Text 24. Oh my Lord, I think that the prose manifest in the forms of sons, grandsons, family members has spread all over the universe in different varieties and species.
So please explain the vibhutis of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the different powers of specific divisions that populate the universe. Shalini, verse 25, 26 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 25. Translation. O learned Brahmana, please describe how the leader of all the demigods, namely Prajapati, Brahma decided to establish the various Manus, the head of the ages. Please describe the Manus also, and please describe the descendants of those Manus. Text 26 translation. O son of Mitra, kindly describe how the planets are situated above the earth as well as underneath it. Also please mention their measurement as well as that of the earthly planets. Hare Krishna.
So Vidura is asking, please explain the Visarga creation by Brahmaji, plus the Manus and descendants of Manus. And then there is question about different planets, their situation and measurements. So this point about Manus and the descendants of Manus, from this point on, this conversation about Manus will continue all the way in Canto 3, then in Canto 4, then in Canto 5. So it's a pretty long conversation about the dynasty of Manus that will go on for quite some time. Okay. Uncle, if you want to read verse 27, 28 translations.
Hare Krishna. 27 text. Also, please describe the living beings under different classifications. Subhumans, humans, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born, within bracket birds, and the plants and vegetables. Kindly describe their generations and subdivisions also. Text 28. Please also describe the incarnations of the material modes of nature, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Maheshwara. And please describe the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his magnanimous activities. Hare Krishna.
So the categories of living beings are described here, that there are 4 kinds of living entities. First is human born from embryo. Then second is birds born from eggs. Third is those who are born from perspiration. And the fourth is plants born from seeds. And the other inquiries about guna avatars and the pastimes of the Lord. Mother Chandra Aunty, verses 29 and 30 translations.
Text 29. O great sage, kindly describe the divisions and orders of human society in terms of symptoms, behavior, and the characteristic of mental equilibrium and sense control. Also, please describe the birth of the great births of the great sages and the categories, divisions of the Vedas. 30. Please also describe the expansion of different sacrifices and the path of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge and devotional service, all with their respective regulations. Hare Krishna.
So here he's talking about Varnashram, the great sages, and the division of Vedas. Plus, he's inquiring about yoga, yajna, jnana, sankhya, and the Narada Pancharatra. I think somebody might have had questions as we were discussing.
Hey Krishna Prabhu, I just wanted to know, Prabhu, who's born out of perspiration, Prabhu?
Yeah, park your question. It will all get. So right now we are in the question stage, and it will all come as we go along. Okay, Mother Jija, verses 31 and 32 translations.
Text 31 translation. Please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding, and the movements of the living entities in various species of life according to their particular modes of nature and work. Text 32. You may also describe the non-contradictory cause of religiosity, economic development, self-gratification, and salvation, and also the different means of livelihood and different process of law and order as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Hare Krishna.
Pretty straightforward verses. There's nothing to discuss. Chandran Prabhu, verses 33 and 34 translations.
Hare Krishna. Verse 33. Please also explain the regulations for offering respects to the forefathers, the creation of the Pitraloka, the time schedule in the planets, stars and luminaries, and their respective situations. 34. Please also describe the fruitive results of charity and penance and digging reservoirs of water. Please describe the situation of persons who are away from home and also the duty of a man in an awkward position. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Again, they are pretty straightforward verses. It's in one of the purports, it's described that the time length, 6 months on Earth, is about 1 day in higher planets. Now, do understand that our planets have different time frames, so it just gives in general. I think in one of the previous chapters, we did discuss, I don't remember the reference right now, but we did discuss the timeline about the length of the day in heaven as well. So that is slightly different compared to what I'm describing here, that 6 months on Earth is equal to 1 day on a higher planet. It's not, all higher planets are not on the same time length. They are all different. So you just have to understand according to which planet you are referring to. Okay. Shivangi, 35, 36 translations.
Hare Krishna, verse 35. O sinless one, because the personality of Godhead, the controller of all living entities, the father of all religion and all those who are candidates for religious activities, kindly describe how he can be completely satisfied. Text 36. O best among the Brahmanas, those who are spiritual masters are very kind to the needy. They are always kind to their followers, disciples, and sons, and without being asked by them, the spiritual master describes all that is knowledge.
So, how to satisfy the Lord is by serving the spiritual master. And Vidura asks that spiritual masters are very kind to all, and spiritual master describe the knowledge even without being asked. Therefore, Vidura is saying, please explain whatever I asked, and please explain whatever I missed, because I don't know all the things to ask. Plus, generally, spiritual masters are so merciful. Therefore, he's asking this in a humble way. Vidura is saying that I do not know what is the most beneficial question. Hence, you should speak what is most beneficial. So yes, Vidura does ask lots of questions, but then he still leaves the door open for anything and everything, because I am contaminated. I don't know everything. Yes, I do know few things to ask from what I have studied before, but please explain what I have not even asked. So this particular verse number 36, is very relevant. When I was getting initiated or going through the process of getting initiated, so my Guru Maharaj has a lot of courses to complete by his own courses. There are universal courses in ISKCON that one needs to complete, and then each spiritual master has his own courses also. And each module, there was a place to ask questions relevant for the module that I'm trying to complete. And towards the end of the module, one of the question was open-ended from my Guru Maharaj, that ask any question that you want to ask. So I did ask the questions, meaning I cut and paste the questions from the previous modules so that all the questions are in one place. Plus, I referenced this same point in my questions, saying that just as Vidura is asking to his spiritual master Maitreya Muni that please explain anything that I have not asked, and I asked the same question. I said, I don't know what to ask. So you please guide me, because you are above the modes and you are knowledgeable. You have seen spirituality. Therefore, you guide me what I have not even asked. Let's read the purport for verse number 36. Very short, but bang to the point. Radha Shakti, verse number 36 purport.
Verse number 36 purport. There are many subjects to be known from the bona fide spiritual master. The followers, disciples, and sons are all on this one level for the bona fide spiritual master, and he is always kind to them and always speak to them on transcendental subjects, even though he is not asked by them. This is the nature of the bona fide spiritual master. Vidura appealed to Maitreya Muni to speak on subjects about which he might not have asked.
Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay.
Just one connection. You can correct me, Prabhu, if I am wrong, because I remember hearing the same kind of query from Parikshit Maharaj, what I have asked and what I have not asked also, Prabhu.
Yeah, you are correct. We already discussed that many of these questions and inquiries are very much similar to what Parikshit Maharaj asked. Okay, correct point. Okay. Maharaj Jija, verse 37, 38 translations.
Text 37 translation. Please describe how many dissolutions there are for the elements of material nature and who survives after the dissolutions to serve the Lord while he is asleep. Text 38. What are the truths regarding the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What are their identities? What are the specific values of in the knowledge in the Vedas, and what are the necessities for the spiritual master and his disciples? Hare Krishna.
Good. So we'll read the purport for verse number 37 shortly. That who survives after dissolution to serve the Lord. So during destruction, we have read and discussed multiple times that all jiva, they go in slumber state in Mahavishnu's womb. Simultaneously, we have also discussed that time does not affect pure devotees. Therefore, Vidura is asking here that devotees are going to be alive. Their devotees are not destroyed, and devotees continue to do service. So we'll read this shortly from the purport for verse number 37. That yes, when annihilation happens, most of the living entities, they go in Mahavishnu's womb. But pure devotees, they are not affected by this dissolution. Time does not affect them. They continue to survive. Plus, it goes on to explain in the solution that what activities do these pure devotees do, because there is nobody around. So they only serve and do the worship of the Lord. Shalini, if you want to read verse 37, it's the last paragraph which starts with after the dissolution of material manifestation.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. After the dissolution of the material manifestations, the Lord and his kingdom beyond the causal ocean do not disappear, nor do the inhabitants, the Lord's associates. The associates of the Lord are far more numerous than the living entities who have forgotten the Lord due to material association. The impersonalist's explanation of the word aham in the 4 verses of the original Bhagavatam, aham evasam evagre, etc., is refuted here. The Lord and his eternal associates remain after the dissolution. Vidura's inquiry about such persons is a clear indication of the existence of all the paraphernalia of the Lord. This is also confirmed in the Kasi Khand, as quoted by both Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti, who followed the footsteps of Srila Sridhara Swami. Na chaivante hi yad bhakta mahatyam pralaya padi ato chuto khile loke sa eka sarva govya vyaya. The devotees of the Lord never annihilate the individual existences, even after the dissolution of the entire cosmic manifestation. The Lord and his devotees who associate with him are always eternal in both the material and spiritual worlds. Hare Krishna.
Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, the devotees of the Lord never annihilate their individual existence. This is what I want to understand better. That doesn't. It means the Lord annihilates, or the devotees of the Lord never annihilate their individual existence.
So we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita 2.12, the very first verse, or not necessarily the first verse. 11 is where Bhagavad Gita starts. Very first point Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita 2.12 is the eternality of individuality and eternality of personality. That even those jivas who are going in Mahavishnu's womb, they don't merge into anything. They don't become a one lump. They still continue to stay in their individual consciousness. Is just that they don't have the body. Versus the pure devotees of the Lord, they continue to exist with their body so as to serve the Lord. So the point is that the individuality is maintained no matter what. And we have also discussed this in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15 in the 3 Shloki Gita, which is in 16, 17, and 18 verses of chapter 15, where Krishna says that there are 2 kinds of living beings, Shara and Akshara, meaning those who are conditioned and those who are liberated. But I am still separate. I am, even those who are liberated, they don't get merged with the Supreme. No, they still maintain their separate existence. And Krishna goes on to say, I am still separate and I am Purushottama. Does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. So from 39 is part 5 of this chapter. Part 5 is verses 39 to 42, where Vidura declares his confidence in Maitreya Muni. These verses are again pretty straightforward. Uncle, if you can read 39 to 42 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 39. Spotless devotees of the Lord have mentioned the source of such knowledge. How could one have knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of such devotees? Text 40. My dear sage, I have put all the questions before you with a view to knowing the pastimes of Hari. the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the friend of all, so kindly describe them for all those who have lost their vision. Text 41. O spotless one, your answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, penances, etc. Text 42. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, thus, the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about describing topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas. Being so infused by Udra, he was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So Vidura is very humble and is showing how one should behave in front of spiritual master. One should always remain a fool in front of spiritual master. And he's saying that since I am ignorant because of Maya, hence please answer and explain to me. So Vidura is asking so many questions, and the main purpose of all these questions is to know the principles of pure devotional service. Thus, we have completed chapter 7, thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Further Inquiries by Vidura. Any questions before we discuss briefly chapter 8?
The chapter 7, with lots of analysis, which triggers the mind to remember many things. And a very good chapter.
Yeah.
Very good chapter.
Yeah, very good. Very good realization and reading and hearing with rapt attention. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam is full of analogies. And Srimad Bhagavatam is full of question and answers. And when you relate this with your practical life, that is perfect. That's the way, meaning you are understanding. Otherwise, you are simply reading. Okay, very good. So we'll continue with chapter 8, and we are on this unit 9, which is titled Creation Part 1, which covers chapters 5 to 8. Chapter 8 is titled Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Chapter 8 is also pretty straightforward and a shorter chapter. We had discussed at the start of Canto 3 that some chapters require longer time, while some chapters are very, very short. Now, this unit number 9 is short in two ways. First, there are fewer chapters, as well as the chapters are also shorter chapters. So chapter 8 is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 is verses 1 to 9. Title is Disciplic Succession of Srimad Bhagavatam. Part 2, verses 10 to 14. The reawakening of creation. Part 3 is verses 15 to 23. Brahmaji's birth and his search for the absolute truth. Part 4, verses 24 to 33. Beautiful darshan of Lord Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So in this chapter, first Maitreya Muni thanks Vidura for Vidura's association, because all in Vidura's family and dynasty are great devotees. Maitreya Muni describes the disciplic succession of Srimad Bhagavatam, that how Maitreya Muni received Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is another disciplic succession. So what Maitreya Muni is going to describe is how Lord Shankarshan spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Sanat Kumaras. Sanat Kumara spoke to Sankheyana Muni. Then from Sankheyana Muni spoke to Parashar, including Brahaspati, and then it came to Maitreya Muni. And we'll also discuss that Brahmaji could not find anything because he was the first living entity, and then he heard tapa, tapa, tapa. And in this Brahmaji is showing by his personal example that personal endeavor, by personal endeavor, cannot understand the Lord. Only by bhakti and only by mercy of the Lord one can understand the Lord and can see the Lord. Mother Chandra Aunty, verse number 1 translation, chapter 8.
Chapter 8, text 1. The great sage Maitreya Muni said to Vidura, the royal dynasty of King Puru is worthy to serve the pure devotees because all the descendants of that family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family, and it is wonderful that because of your attempt, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are becoming newer and newer at every moment. Hare Krishna.
In Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.18 to 39, largely what we had discussed last class, Vidura said that he will gain knowledge by serving his spiritual master Maitreya Muni. In response, Maitreya Muni is glorifying Vidura. Maitreya Muni responds that actually Maitreya Muni is fortunate to get association of Vidura. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that both Maitreya Muni and Vidura are glorifying each other's association. Chandran Prabhu, verse number 2 translation.
Hare Krishna. Verse number 2. Let me now begin speaking on the Bhagavata Purana, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in extreme miseries for the sake of very little pleasure. Hare Krishna.
So Maitreya Muni says, I will now speak Srimad Bhagavatam, which was directly spoken by the Lord for the benefit of people who have to accept great suffering to get little pleasure. Maitreya Muni will soon describe the disciplic succession of Srimad Bhagavatam, that started from Lord Sankarshan. So this another parampara starting from Lord Sankarshan is parallel to the parampara that we know, which starts from Lord Sri Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam is about glorifying the Lord. There are different versions of Srimad Bhagavatam in different planets. And each of these Srimad Bhagavatam, the verses count may be different. But the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam of glorifying the Lord is common. In these different versions of Srimad Bhagavatam, small details may be different. But the essence stays the same, the essence of Lord's glorification. And here in this verse, it describes that men engage in the world simply to increase their suffering for want of insignificant material happiness. And the solution is described. We have read multiple times the solution. The solution is Srimad Bhagavatam is the suitable answer to mitigate miseries. Verses 3 to 9 describe this disciplic succession of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mother Jija, verses 3 and 4 translations.
Text 3. Some time ago, being inquisitive to know, Sanat Kumara, the chief of the boy saints, accompanied by the other great sages, inquired exactly like you about the truths regarding Vasudeva, the Supreme, from Lord Shankarshana, who is seated at the bottom of the universe. Text 4. At that time, Lord Shankarshana was meditating upon his Supreme Lord, whom the learned esteem as Lord Vasudeva. But for the sake of the advancement of the great learned sages, he slightly opened his lotus-like eyes and began to speak. Hare Krishna.
So pretty straightforward verses that Lord Sankarsana began to speak to the 4 Kumaras. Radha Shakti, verses 5 and 6 translations.
Verse 5. The sages came from the highest planets down to the lower region through the water of the Ganges, and therefore the hair on their heads was wet. They touched the lotus feet of the Lord, which was worshipped with various paraphernalia by the daughters of the serpent king when they desire good husbands. Text 6. The 4 Kumaras, headed by Sanat Kumaras, who all knew the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, glorified the Lord in rhythmic accents with selected words full of affection and love. At that time, Lord Sankarshana, with his thousands of raised hoods, began to radiate an effulgence from the glowing stones of his head.
So in verse number 5 purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks about the glories of Ganges river. River Ganga came from lotus feet of the Lord. Taking bath in Ganges can eliminate unknown sinful activities. But if after taking bath, one commits sin again, is like elephant throwing mud after taking bath. The last 3 verses that we're going to cover today are 7, 8, 9 translation. Shalini, if you want to read, please.
Hare Krishna, text 7 translation. Lord Sankarshan thus spoke the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam to the great sage Sanat Kumara, who had already taken the vow of renunciation. Sanat Kumara also in his turn, when inquired by Sankhya Yana Muni, explained Srimad Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Sankarsha. Text 8 translation. The great sage Sankhayana was the chief among the transcendentalists, and when he was describing the glories of the Lord in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, it so happened that my spiritual master Parasara and Brahaspati both heard him. Text 9 translation. The great sage Parasara, as aforementioned, being so advised by the great sage Pulatsya, spoke unto me the foremost of the Puranas, Bhagavatam. I shall also describe this before you, my dear son, in terms of my hearing, because you're always my faithful follower.
So this is the another disciplic succession of Srimad Bhagavatam described in these 3 verses. That Lord Sankarshan spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara spoke to Sankhayana Muni. Sankhayana Muni spoke to Parashar, and Brahaspati was also present. And then Parashar spoke to Maitreya Muni. In 3.8.2 words, we just read, Maitreya Muni said, I will describe Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is this Srimad Bhagavatam that Maitreya Muni will describe to Vidura. So we won't cover more verses. As I said at the start, that today's class will be shorter and the next class will be shorter. If I had rushed through, it's possible I could have squeezed the entire chapter 8 today, but I didn't want to rush unnecessarily. So as I said at the start of our class today, that next Sunday, 28th January, we'll finish this unit number 9. So at the start, I referenced the unit number incorrectly. So the correct unit that we are right now is unit number 9. So we'll finish unit number 9 next Sunday, 28th January. And then following Sunday, 4th February, you all will do your respective presentations on unit number 9. You can please inform to Shalini Gopal Krishna whether or not you plan to do the presentation, so I can divide the chapters accordingly. I mean, there are less number of chapters, plus even within the chapter, the division is not really required. So if you are not going to do the presentations, there's no need for me to divide and then again merge. So just let Shalini know who all do plan to do the presentations, so I can do the divisions accordingly. I'll give you homework questions, 2 questions. Both questions come from the same set of verses. First is, trace the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam from Lord Sankarshan to Maitreya Muni. Comes from verses 7 to 9. Question 2 is, what point does Srila Prabhupada establish on the basis of this above disciplic succession? Both questions are related. And question number 2 comes from verse number 9. Any questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you please repeat the second question?
Yeah. What point does Srila Prabhupada establish on the basis of this above disciplic succession in question number 1 that I gave?
Okay.
Comes from verse number 9. Anybody has any questions, comments, realizations before we stop and I briefly describe about Krishna Prabhu again?
Prabhuji,
So,
the
Sridhar Prabhu-
Sanat Kumar.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sanat Kumar. Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Sanat Kumar. In Sri Lanka, we have lots of names. So they're all the disciplic successors, or the tradition is maintained about Krishna there. You have any idea?
No, so Sanat is just a name. I mean, there are many cricketers also with the same Sanat name. So that is just a name.
Okay.
These Sanat Kumaras are the ones who have no children. So yeah, have we discussed? Yeah, we discussed this. No, we have not yet discussed. It's upcoming in upcoming chapters. That these Sanat Kumaras are the sons of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji asked them to populate the world, and they said no, we don't want to get entangled. So they stayed as 5-year-old children eternally. So they have no descendants. So it's just a name Sanat, but it doesn't come from them.
Thank you.
So Sridhar Prabhu had joined a little late. I made the announcement, or I explained briefly about our dear Krishna Ganga Prabhu. So I'll just repeat that our dear Krishna Ganga Prabhu is in the hospital, and I'm trying to get more details. So all you Vaishnava male devotees, it's an opportunity for you all to do japa with Krishna Ganga Prabhu and for Krishna Ganga Prabhu over the phone. Right now, Krishna Ganga Prabhu does not have his cell phone on him. So I'm trying to get more details and work on the logistics. I'll keep you all posted. And the Vaishnavis, those who are around Toronto area, can think about making prasadam for him. And those who are far away can do the prayers for him. Are we okay to stop here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
thank
Krishna,
you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So